You have now revealed the entire movie, and I will not watch it. But thank you for telling me.
Highly recommend it. Watch it. Enjoy it.
Hi, I'm Sans.
And I'm Shira.
This is Gift of the Gab,
where we take contemporary issues and look at them through a giving lens. So, are you a big film watcher?
Not so much anymore. Just time doesn't really let me watch much. But in my day, I used to watch some good films. And what about you?
Same. I haven't had the time to stay awake throughout an entire film for a while. Yeah. But previously, I used to love watching movies, and especially ones that I felt moved me and changed my outlook on things.
Okay, so tell me a movie that moved you.
Movie that moved me. Definitely, I'm a big fan of Will Smith in his serious roles.
Okay.
Have you seen Pursuit of Happiness?
I love Pursuit.
Okay, so I don't want to talk about that film because it's a bit different, but that's he's a brilliant, serious actor.
Superb. I mean, the fact that was his son.
Yeah. Beautiful,
was just
beautiful film.
So powerful because you get the feeling that it was like it was his son.
Yeah, he had a great relationship with his son on screen. It was great. Anyway, that's a whole separate thing. Watch it if you haven't seen it. Okay. But the film that I want to talk about is 7 Pounds. Have you seen that film?
I've not seen 7 Pounds. So you're going to tell me about it.
So I'm not going to spoil anything, but it follows the story of Ben, who is an IRS tax advisor or something. And his job is to change the life of 7 different people. And he follows different stories and he donates some organs to different people. And it's a really great message of someone. You know, how far would you go to give to someone? Where do you draw the line? Because often, you know...
And these are people he didn't know?
People he didn't know that he got to know throughout the film. And I really don't want to spoil the whole thing, but it really does...
You've spoiled everything. But
it really does make you question, you know, we all think we're quite kind people sometimes. We meet really amazing people. But where is your line where you say, I would do anything for giving, but I wouldn't do that meatloaf reference.
Right.
But where do you draw the line?
I didn't get that.
So yeah, I found that very moving. And the end of the film is particularly emotive and just a great story about redemption.
It's a happy ending, Hollywood ending.
Bittersweet. But it's about redemption through giving, and I think that's a really nice message.
I mean, was this guy a bad guy?
He felt he'd done something wrong. He had an accident, which it talks about at the beginning of the film, and he was responsible for the accident. And to relieve his guilt, he was trying to do acts of kindness to other people.
You have now revealed the entire movie, and I will not watch it. But thank you for telling me.
Highly recommend it. Watch it. Enjoy it. What about you?
There's a movie that really moved me, and I'm a bit of a war fan. Mm-hmm. I don't know why, but I am.
Judo.
Fighting. I don't know. No, like World War II. Love that kind of stuff.
Really?
Yeah. So there's a movie called Hacksaw Ridge. Now, have you seen it?
I haven't seen it. My students have recommended it to me as well.
It is unbelievable. It's about a guy, a conscientious observer called Desmond Doss.
Okay.
Now, he actually refused to pick up a gun. And he became a paramedic and refused until they sent him to the front line in Okinawa.
Yeah.
Now, Okinawa is known to be one of the bloodiest battles in the World War II American-Japanese history.
Interesting.
And there was this ridge called Hacksaw Ridge, and unbelievable, 2,500 Americans died on that ridge.
Wow.
It's a shocking number. And they fought for a number of months. And what happened is they had to climb up this ridge with these like ropes nearly, and go onto the ridge and fight the Japanese who were in bunkers. And then they would bomb from the sea. It was horrific. It was horrific.
Yeah.
And what happened was he came up this ridge, and they were running around and they were fighting, and then they were told to retreat, and they retreated. And he refused to retreat until he started helping. He saved 75 men that night. He
on his side?
On his own. No, he was on the Japanese ridge.
Wow.
He was in enemy territory, and he was crawling around, finding people that were wounded, dragging them back to the ridge. He made a knot because he was like a scout. He knew this whole way to make a knot, lowering them down. And the 2 guards at the bottom of the ridge see this like guy being lowered down. All of a sudden, they realize he's injured, take him to the ambulance.
Gosh.
Next 5 minutes later, the whole night, he saved 75 people, including Japanese.
Unbelievable.
It's just, this guy is just a different
And that's
level.
a true story.
True story. He
Incredible.
got the highest Medal of Honor from America. And just such a power story. And this is a guy that just saved lives, did something good. He could have gone down with everyone, but he chose not to. He chose to help.
Definitely want to watch that. That
Okay,
sounds really good.
and it's a really unbelievable.
So in contrast, a much lighter film, but still very moving. I loved this one as a teenager, as Pay It Forward.
It's a classic.
And I don't know if you know this, but actually I think one of the Give It Forward Today is Gift's catchphrase. And that was based on the film Pay It Forward, because I think originally the committee that were involved in deciding it were like, they just loved that film. And so they were going to call it Pay It Forwards Today, and PIFT. That didn't quite work.
Thank God we do not work for PIFT.
But that film, I don't know. Have you seen that film?
I have long ago.
I can't remember the kid's name even. I've like blanked on his name. The little boy, a very cute boy, and he set a class project. The whole class has set a project. Do one thing to change the world. And all these kids are like, how can we think of anything to change the world? And then this kid comes up with an idea, really simple idea, that if you do one act of kindness for 3 people, a big act of kindness for 3 people, then they themselves do one act of kindness for 3 new people. And then it goes passed on and passed on, passed on. And that film follows this journey. But did you know this one fact, that if you were to do this model of one person gives to 3 people, and then those 3 give to 3 new people, how many days do you think it would take to reach the entire world? Billions of people.
You think months.
Months.
No?
21 days.
What?
21 days. If day 1, the act happens to 3 people, day 2, then 9 people. And I think it's just incredible to think about the power of giving and the power of your actions.
And you see so many times today, seeing these videos, and you see in the coffee shops and all these places, the guy comes in, walks in, and you don't have to pay because it's, the guy before you paid.
Yeah.
And then there's a string of 70, 80, 100 coffees paid forward, which is just,
I saw that
cool.
the drive-through documentary about I don't know how long it went on for, but it went the whole chain of cars.
Yeah, exactly.
Wouldn't you hate to be that person that was ended the chain? Nah, I'm good, thanks. I'm not going to pay for the person behind me.
Thank you. Thanks for the freebie. Yeah. So I'll tell you one last one that I love. It's a little bit heavier, sorry.
Okay.
But it's a big part of my past. It's called Invictus by Clint Eastwood.
Okay.
And Invictus is about the World Cup rugby final. But it's a little bit more in South Africa, which South Africa won. And
that's why you like the film.
Many, many, many moons ago, it was a very powerful thing. What happened is that our country went through really major trauma. Mm-hmm. And there was, a democracy, and people were given the right to vote in 1994. Nelson Mandela became the president. And I'll tell you that the country was on a knife edge. Black people were very angry with what had happened with apartheid for many years. And there were really the calls to take revenge, real calls for mass, revenge. And Nelson Mandela stood up in every stadium, in every speech he made in Sotho, in his native language, and he's called out to people to forget and forgive and move forward. And the only way we're going to build this country is by building it together. Let go of the hatred, and it was such a powerful message for the first year that he was in power. And then we got to the World Cup, and everyone knew rugby's the white man's sport. Right? And it was this, blacks weren't allowed to play, etc. And Nelson Mandela came out in the World Cup final in a Springbok jersey. And that unbelievably changed the country. That act of giving, that act of kindness that he did, that show of solidarity was so powerful, because he said, we're one. And
Love
people,
that.
and if you can Google it, you've got 50,000 basically white people in the stadium going, Nelson, Nelson, Nelson. And it was unbelievable. And he really changed the course of South Africa's history. Because
amazing.
People could have just, gone the wrong way. And he did. So I think that was an amazing act of of compassion, of giving. One of his great quotes is, you're not born hating. You're taught to hate.
Yeah.
And if you're taught to hate, you can be taught to love, something like that. And I just think it's, that movie depicts the run-up to the great day that he came out in the Springbok jersey.
That is amazing.
Yeah,
I love that.
Is very powerful. So that's my pick for a movie that's inspiring and giving. And I think I love yours too. Pay It Forward. We got 21 days to make it happen.
Yeah, 21 days.
And, I really appreciated those two stories. And until the next time, keep doing good things.
Give's mission is to inspire and enable lifelong giving. Subscribe to Gift of the Gab podcast wherever you get your podcast from. And feel free to drop us a note at podcast@jgift.org if you have any comments or any suggestions of what we should be talking about in future. And of course, check us out on social media @Gift Charity for ways to get involved.